In the history of the NBA, certain players shine not through flashy headlines, but through consistent excellence and professional dedication. Rolando Blackman is a prime example of such a basketball player. Born on February 22, 1959 in Panama City, Panama, Blackman's journey to the NBA began in the United States, where he developed his basketball skills. He emerged as a standout player at Kansas State University, catching the attention of NBA scouts with his smooth shooting touch and exceptional court vision. The Dallas Mavericks selected Blackman with the 9th overall pick in the 1981 NBA draft, a decision that would prove transformative for both the player and the franchise. Over 11 seasons with the Mavericks, Blackman became a big part of the team's identity, forming a dynamic duo with Mark Aguirre that helped elevate the franchise to a playoff contender. Blackman's playing style was characterized by his exceptional mid-range shooting, fluid movements, and basketball intelligence. He was a 4-time NBA All-Star, a testament to his consistent performance and respected among his peers. His ability to create shots both for himself and teammates made him a crucial component of the Mavericks' offensive strategy. His career epitomized consistency and skill, traits that sometimes get overlooked in a sport that often celebrates individual highlights. When Blackman first stepped onto the Kansas State campus in 1977, he was more than just another freshman basketball player. He was an international student with big dreams and an even bigger skill set. Coming from Panama, he brought a unique perspective and playing style that would catch everyone's attention. From day one, Blackman stood out. He wasn't the loudest guy in the court, but boy did he let this game do the talking. His smooth shooting touch and incredible court vision quickly made him a key player for the Kansas State Wildcats. During his time at Kansas State, Blackman wasn't just playing basketball, he was rewriting the school's record books. His scoring ability was something special. Imagine a player who could smoothly sink shots from almost anywhere on the court, making it look effortless. That was Rolando Blackman. He consistently averaged around 16 to 18 points per game, which was seriously impressive for a college player in that era. But what made Blackman truly remarkable wasn't just his scoring, it was his all-around game. He wasn't a one-trick pony who could just shoot. He could pass, he could defend, and read the game like a seasoned veteran. And remember, he was doing this while balancing college studies as an international student. The 1980-81 season was particularly memorable. Blackman was in his prime, leading the Wildcats with a combination of skill, intelligence, and that quiet confidence that would become his trademark. He wasn't just playing basketball, he was conducting an orchestra on the court, with each movement calculated and precise. By the time he was ready to leave Kansas State, Blackman was becoming a true college basketball icon. His jersey would eventually be retired, a testament to the impact he made during those 4 years. More importantly, he had transformed from an international student with potential to a complete basketball player ready to take on the NBA. When the 1981 NBA draft came around, the Dallas Mavericks knew exactly who they were getting. Blackman wasn't just a draft pick, he was a carefully crafted basketball product, shaped by his incredible experiences at Kansas State University. Let me take you back to the early 1980s, a time when the Dallas Mavericks were more of a basketball experiment than a powerhouse. Enter Rolando Blackman, a young player who would become the very soul of a franchise finding its identity. When the Mavericks selected Blackman with the 9th overall pick in the 1981 NBA draft, little did they know they were about to draft a player that would define an entire era of Dallas basketball. Fresh out of Kansas State, Blackman wasn't just another rookie. He was a unique talent with an international flair and basketball IQ that was way ahead of his years. The early 1980s Mavericks were a terrible basketball team. He wasn't just a player, he was a culture builder. Let's talk numbers, because Blackman's stats are impressive. During his time with the Mavericks, he was a model of consistency. We're talking about a player who averaged between 17 and 22 points per game for most of his tenure. But numbers only tell a part of the story. Blackman was the kind of player coaches dreamed about, reliable, smart, and always team first. His partnership with Mark Aguirre was the stuff of basketball legend. These two were a dynamic duo, creating a scoring threat that kept opposing defenses up at night. Imagine a team when the Mavericks went to a genuine playoff contender. That's the Blackman era we're talking about. The 1984 to 1988 period was particularly magical. Blackman wasn't just playing basketball, he was helping transform the entire Mavericks franchise. He made 4 consecutive All-Star teams during his stretch, a testament to his consistent brilliance. But Blackman was more than just a scorer. His defensive skills were criminally underrated. He could guard multiple positions, read offensive plays like a chess grandmaster, and do all the little things that just don't show up on the highlight reels. The late 1980s and early 1990s saw Mavericks become a genuine Western Conference threat, and Blackman was the heartbeat of transformation. He wasn't just a player on the team, he was their identity. When people talk about the great Mavericks of that era, they often focus on more explosive personalities. But true basketball fans know Rolando Blackman was the engine that kept everything running smoothly. His jersey number 22 wasn't just a number, it became a symbol of excellence in Dallas. By the time he was traded to the New York Knicks in 1992, Blackman had become a Mavericks legend. He had played 11 seasons with the team, scoring 16,643 points, a number that placed him among the most prolific scorers in franchise history at that time. He wasn't just a player who played for the Mavericks, he was a player who defined the Mavericks. And in 2007, the Mavericks did the only thing that made sense. They retired Blackman's number 22. It wasn't just a jersey retirement, it was a celebration of a player who had given everything to the franchise during its most formative years. When Blackman arrived in New York in 1992, he was not the young, explosive scorer he'd been in Dallas. He was a seasoned veteran with 4 All-Star appearances under his belt. The early 1990s Knicks were a team in transition. Pat Riley was at the helm, crafting a team that would become legendary for its toughness and defensive intensity. Players like Patrick Ewing, John Starks, and Charles Oakley had created a team identity that was quintessential New York. Physical, uncompromising, never backing down. And Blackman, he slid right into the narrative like he was born to be there. Here's the thing about Blackman's Knicks years. His role was dramatically different from his Dallas days. No longer the primary scoring option, he became the ultimate professional bench player. Think of him as a Swiss Army knife of basketball. Versatile, reliable, ready for any situation Coach Riley needed him in. The 1992-93 season was particularly memorable. The Knicks were a force to be reckoned with, reaching the Eastern Conference Finals and pushing the Chicago Bulls to 6 games. Michael Jordan's Bulls were at their peak, but the Knicks, with Blackman as a key veteran presence, showed they were more than just a playoff team. Statistically, Blackman's numbers might not jump off the page. He was averaging around 7 to 8 points per game, coming off the bench and providing that veteran calm in crucial moments. But basketball isn't just about numbers. It's about leadership, basketball IQ, and other intangible qualities that don't show up in the box scores. What many fans might not remember is how Blackman's experience and crucial in those high-pressure playoff moments. In a lineup full of intense, emotional players, he was a calm in the storm. When the game got tight, when the pressure was mounting, Blackman was the player who could steady the ship. The 93-94 season was Blackman's final year in the NBA, and he approached it with the same professionalism he'd shown throughout his career. The Knicks were again a force in the Eastern Conference, and Blackman was playing his part as mentor, role player, and consummate professional. His relationships with teammates were particularly notable. Guys like Ewing and Starks spoke about Blackman with a respect that went beyond typical teammate talk. He was like the wise uncle on the team, someone who had seen it all, who could offer advice both on and off the court. When Blackman's playing career came to an end after the 1994 season, he left behind more than just statistics. He left a blueprint of what it means to be a true professional, adapting, supporting, and always putting the team first. Post-retirement, Blackman transitioned into coaching and management roles, further demonstrating his deep understanding of basketball. He has worked with various NBA teams in player development and front office capacities, continuing to contribute to the sport that defined his professional life. Blackman was rightfully inducted into the Dallas Mavericks Ring of Honor, a recognition of his significant contributions to the franchise. His jersey number 22 is retired, ensuring that future generations of Maverick fans would remember his impact. Rolando Blackman represents a generation of NBA players who prioritize fundamentals, teamwork, and professional excellence. While he might not have the same name recognition of some of his contemporaries, his legacy is etched in the respect he earned from coaches, teammates, and opponents alike. For basketball enthusiasts and historians, Rolando Blackman is more than just the statistics. He is a symbol of dedication, skill, and quiet dignity that defines true sporting excellence. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and stay safe.